Disney classics, original shows, documentaries, and more? There's a new streaming service in town.
We're Andrea and Patty, and we are now streaming Disney+. Hey y'all, this is Patty from No-Guilt.Fangirl.com and No-Guilt Fangirls Podcast. You can find me on all socials at No Guilt Life.
And I'm Andrea Updike with ThemeParkParents.com. You can find me at Andrea Updike on all socials or at Theme Park Parents.
And you know what? I'm going to add one more place that people can find me. Hope you don't mind, because I'm doing it. I started a brand new podcast last week, and I'm super excited about it. It is called the No Guilt Disney Podcast. And if you know anything about me, you know, well, I like to talk about Disney, like a lot.
Who, you?
Mm-hmm. So I finally roped in a couple of permanent co-hosts, and we kicked it off, and we're having so much fun with it. So I just wanted to throw that out there as another option if you need some more Disney in your life. This is going to be...
And who doesn't? Who doesn't need more Disney in their lives, really?
I honestly, Andrea, I think so many of our problems could be solved if people would just embrace the mouse just a little bit more. I know.
Amen.
I know, you know. But I do think that it's a lot of fun, and it's primarily focused on the Disney parks or Disney vacations. Not so much like the movies or the shows. So that's still showing up at Fangirl, and that's still showing up obviously right here when it comes to Disney Plus. But if you just like to talk about like Disney park travel stuff, we're doing things a little bit different. There's some unpopular opinions that we discuss every week. There's memorable moments. There are going to be some more traditional like tip type things as well, but it's not your typical Disney podcast. So maybe check it out.
Awesome.
Anybody that's listening, we'd love to have you.
Yeah,
on that note, Andrea, it's good to have you back, dude.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's good to be back.
As much as I have fun with Tanya at all the times, I did miss you. And so I was like, this is weird hosting the podcast without Andrea.
I know. And Tanya did an awesome job. And it was so good to hear about that new show, Diary of a Future President, which has now been on a couple more times. And it was nice to hear her perspective. So thank you, Tanya.
Have you had a chance to watch it yet?
I've watched the first episode. So I am not quite caught up, but I thought it was really cute. I mean, it's a different kind of perspective. I like the kind of shows that go back and forth between today and yesterday and all that kind of stuff for 30 years, whatever. So I think it has potential. We'll see.
Yeah. I watched 2. I didn't get to watch last week's episode because I was traveling, but I'm liking it enough so far, and my daughters love it. So obviously that's their target audience. So they're both really enjoying it. So yeah, it's another original, positive original winner here in our household. Anywho, I also wanted to check in with you on your Clone Wars, Rebels, watching. How have you started? How far are you? What's
I
the
do
status?
not have. I'm sad to say we've kind of been upside down the last few weeks, and I have let all catching up kind of be on pause for a little while. My son is further along than I am in terms of Clone Wars, and I've watched a little bit with him. We did watch the movie. I might have mentioned that.
Okay, so do we need to have him on the podcast?
Yeah, he might need to come on and tell you what's up, because he knows a lot more about it than I do. But I know I have some catching up to do, because the new season, the final season, is like happening in a week or two or something.
Something like that. Yeah, it's like coming up just around the corner. Might be a good time to buckle in this weekend and start binging those shows.
I know. There's so much to watch right now. But I gotta say, there has also been some rumbling about a lack of new shows for grown-ups coming out. There's been a lot of rolling out of new kids shows, which is awesome on Disney Plus. I've seen some pushbacks because the grown-ups are having to wait a lot longer than we want to.
I know.
For the grown-up shows.
And psst, Disney Plus, we're the one with the credit cards. We're the one paying the bills.
Exactly. Come on, give us something to hang on to. They gave us a little nibble on Super Bowl Sunday, but it's not enough.
I know. I hear you. All right. So let's. Are we ready to talk about that? That's what we're here for. That's what we want to talk about. Is this Super Bowl Sunday? They put this 30-second teaser spot out, and oh my goodness, what a tease that was!
Seriously. And for a 30-second, and I said little nibble, it sure was a lot to chew on because they packed some information into that 30-second spot.
They did. And Andrea, I slowed it down and looked at it second by second.
There was a lot to see.
There was a lot to see. And I think I caught some things that if I had just watched it, I would have missed. And, I can't do that with like a 2-minute episode, but I could do that with a 30-second spot. And so I did. Here's what they showed us. If you haven't seen it yet, you're definitely going to want to pull this up on YouTube or any of your social media channels. It's all over the place, but this is the first looks at the Marvel Disney Plus series that we're going to get. And they kind of packaged it, all 3 of the first shows together. So this is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which debuts fall of 2020. Mm-hmm. So pretty soon. We're going to blink and it's going to be fall of 2020 and we're going to all lose our minds. So it's coming. And then WandaVision is sometime in 2020 as well. I don't know. That one, I thought I had heard a rumor that one was actually being pushed up to like August.
I saw something about it being moved up to 2020. So hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah. And then Loki comes out in spring of 2021. So are we ready to break down this trailer?
Let's break it down.
Okay. Well, I'm going to run through the whole thing first. Okay. And just kind of give people a rundown of what I picked up and what I saw. And then we'll go back through and we'll start with Falcon and Winter Soldier. So
sounds good.
The spot opens with a pounding beat and the shield has been thrown into a tree and it's stuck there. It's like wedged into this tree. And then we hear Bucky Barnes' voice saying, "It's time." And Sam is seen throwing the shield, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. Then we see these bat suits, I guess. So I don't even know what they're called, but people flying through the air after jumping from a plane, and they like have wing suits, or maybe I'm not sure. But if you blink, you'll miss it. But you see Sam as Falcon flying after them, and guns are pulled, and I went frame by frame to see that to catch it all. And then all of a sudden, we're back on the ground, and we have Bucky with Baron Zemo, the guy that was the bad guy in Civil War. Yes, Civil War. And he shoots him straight in the face with like 10 bullets and they all just fall. Like they don't do anything. And then suddenly, boom, away from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And we are in black and white and we see Vision and a doorbell rings and Wanda is standing there and Vision says, "Welcome home, Wanda." So it totally looks like Dick Van Dyke, Leave It to Beaver kind of like feel, right? Then we go in this quick like flip scene changes of Wanda in different time periods. Yes. And
I was loving the different outfits
the looks, right?
And the looks from the different time periods. I was like, oh, this is getting good.
In like the 80s one, like her hair is down and kind of like in the permed 80s look. I did catch like kids' artwork on the fridge in the background.
Yep.
So I'm like, dude, do they have kids? What is going on?
They do. There's one still where they're actually standing in front of 2 cribs. And there are pacifiers like flying up out of the cribs.
Like it's getting crazy. And then we get a very 50s wedding dress and a suit, and then flip again to Wanda in this Brady Bunch kind of house that was kind of giving off those vibes. And then she answers the 50s phone. Like everything was just flip. And she answers the 50s phone, Vision residence. And then we see both current day Wanda and still black and white Vision kind of, I don't know, landing in the 50s. Like they're taken off balance. Like they've just, I don't know what's going on there.
Almost like a quantum leap feel where they just sort of appear and they're like, wait a minute, what time period am I in now?
Yeah, it was crazy. And then a few flashes of logos with what I'm calling off-brand Captain America. Officially, his name is U.S. Agent. I know that. Yes. I know a little bit about like what happens in the comic books, but I'm calling him off-brand Captain America. And he shows up, and boom. We are switching to Loki. Yes. And Loki tells us...
I didn't get enough. I did not get enough Loki.
No, and I'm sure they did that on purpose. So we go to Loki, and Loki says, "I'm going to burn this place to the ground."
And I love that because it's a reminder that we're not getting the most current version of Loki. We're getting like several movies ago Loki where he was still pretty bad and, kind of had this angry, I mean, he always had that, but he didn't have the emotional growth that he showed in the final couple of movies. So I'm excited. We're getting bad Loki, evil Loki back, and I cannot wait. Can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. All right, so let's talk about the Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What were your thoughts on this? Since you're not as sold on it or not as interested in it at this point, what did you think about this one?
Okay, so I am ready for this. I'm fully willing to be convinced that this is going to be an awesome show. The reason I'm not super excited about it is because I don't really know the comic background of these characters. I don't really know how they transition from Endgame to this sort of tag team fighting thing. And also, we kind of had the handoff from Captain America to Sam as the new Captain America, but now he's still Falcon. And so I'm like a little confused over how that is going to like play into it. Is he going to be both? Is he giving one up?
I'm kind of thinking that what we saw with Falcon, with that scene of him flying as Falcon, that might have actually been like a flashback where maybe he ran into Barry Zemo when he was back, doing something with the Avengers. I don't know. It's just that was my thought, was that maybe that's a flashback scene. Because, my impression, I'm with you on that. My impression was that he was supposed to be Cap now. Like, we're not going to do both. But I don't know. I mean, why can't you be both? I don't know how this works, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got U.S. Agent, who was sort of the government's response, we still need a Captain America. So it's like, so do they not know that the mantle has been passed? So there's a lot of mystery there. I think it's going to be interesting. I also noticed Bucky's haircut. How are we feeling about the short hair again?
Yeah, it's kind of nice. We actually just watched Captain America, the First Avenger recently. And, that's Bucky was so clean cut and cute in those first scenes that you meet him, because he was just this kid from the Bronx. So this was definitely a throwback to that. And I'm down with that. I'm good with that.
I think it's kind of a visual cue to let us know that he's fully away from the brainwashing.
I like it.
The long hair, the Winter Soldier, the murderer, assassin guy has sort of finally been exorcised out of him, and he's back to being himself. I want to think that that's what they were trying to say. And I didn't catch this. Maybe you did in your frame by frame rewatching, but did they actually show his arm at all? Because it seemed like he just had like a jacket on.
No, I didn't see any armage. Yeah, didn't see it.
Like the metal arm.
Yeah, nope, didn't see it.
There's enough information there to have me curious, but the other two are just so much there for me that I just can't help it. You got to pick one, right? Like one you're most excited about, Loki, duh. And then WandaVision, I just think is such an interesting way to bring these characters to life. Like from what I've read and from what I've seen, it's going to be a little bit more of a sitcom feel and have some humor to it, which I'm actually really looking forward to, because I love when Marvel does the humor stuff. They do it so well. So I'm really looking forward to that sort of less intense, but still really interesting storytelling.
I have a feeling that when I am sitting down and watching WandaVision, my response is going to be like, what did I just watch? Like that's just because that's the vibe I'm getting from everything that I've seen so far. We saw a little bit of snippets also at D23 Expo. And then obviously in this little spot, I think it's going to be weird and wacky and crazy and kooky. It just, all of this, every single piece that we have seen so far, it feels like the production value is like the level of a Marvel movie, which is what has me so thrilled. After seeing what happened with Mandalorian and how well put together that was, all I've been thinking about is, all right, so I'm not getting all my MCU that I've been accustomed to for the last couple of years when they were pumping out 2 and 3 movies a year. We are getting Black Widow here shortly. But so I'm not getting that, but I think I'm still going to get really high quality Marvel entertainment just in like minuscule bites every week that will last for 2 months, just like Mandalorian did. So I guess Loki I think is only 6 episodes, but I'll take it. I mean, it's going to be, I'm excited about this new way of watching this fandom, and yeah, it's got me intrigued.
And I think it allows them to do a little bit more with the story. I mean, the Marvel people have to be shaken in their boots after this absolute takeover of The Mandalorian. I mean, the success of that show and how wonderful it was. It is the gold standard now, and it has set the bar so high for all of these other shows. Everyone's going to be comparing at least the first few next shows that are primarily made for adults. They're going to be comparing it to The Mandalorian. There's no getting around that. So I know that we have high expectations for these shows. I'm also interested to see if they will tie them together at all, if we'll have any crossovers at any point, or any, we've got the time travel with WandaVision. Will any of that time travel coincide with the time travel from Loki?
I don't know about that. There could be some, I think, between the movies. Like, for example, when I did a little bit of researching, I saw that the U.S. agent dude, my off-brand Captain America guy, he was trained by Taskmaster, which factors in with Black Widow. So are we going to see anything in that movie that's going to play into this show down the line? And I am pretty sure at D23 Expo maybe, there was discussion of Wanda Maximoff being involved with Doctor Strange too, and that somehow that was also going to factor into the Disney Plus show, like it was going to be brought into it as well. I could be reaching that. I may not have all those details accurate.
I actually just saw something over the weekend that talked about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the movie that's coming out. They are saying that there is, I don't know if it was confirmed or just a super high potential rumor, but they're saying that there are going to be quite a few cameos of multiverse versions of the characters we already know. So it might be that we see a little Chris Evans in some alternate universe or something like that. They didn't say who, of course. I'm just, because who doesn't want Captain America? But I do think there's going to be some of that in Doctor Strange, and it would be awesome if it did tie into these shows.
So I don't know. There's just so much. There's so many possibilities. But what they gave us, look at us. We've just talked for like 20 minutes about this 30-second little. We are such junkies, Disney. You have us eating out of the palm of your hands with these shows, and we didn't even hardly say anything about Loki because they also only gave us like 3 seconds of Loki.
But it was 3 interesting seconds with actually quite a bit of information. We can tell that he is being held as some kind of a prisoner. He's got initials on his prison uniform, TVA, which in my reading I learned is sort of this time travel authority monitoring service that monitors time jumping. And when they think people are taking advantage of it, they put them in jail. So that's where we can assume Loki is. Of course, I don't expect him to stay there long. Nope. But so that was a really interesting little tidbit. I'm like, wow, even in that one little scene, we got a little more information than meets the eye. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it was tiny, but it was mighty. We also got news last week that Owen Wilson has been cast in the Loki series. How do we feel about that?
I absolutely love it. I have seen some mixed responses, but I love Owen Wilson. I am here for him. Yes, he was Lightning McQueen. I can get away from that. He, to me, is just one of the most fun actors to watch. I cannot wait to see what role they put him into, because if one thing I know about Marvel, they really cast well. And I don't think, at first glance, I can see how people say, and kind of turn their head sideways. I don't really see him as Marvel, but there are a lot of moving pieces to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and not everyone, as we know, is going to be the big bad villain or the big superhero. So I can't wait to see who he is and how he appears in the show.
Yeah, I'm overall, in general, a fan of the Wilson brothers. In fact, my son's name is Luke, and his middle name is Owen.
I didn't know that.
It wasn't on purpose that it ended up that way, but it was one of those things where we picked the name Luke, and we were trying to just Luke by itself. We picked Luke, and we were trying to come up with a good middle name. And there was, I can't remember which movie it was. This was 2003. So if anybody knows around that time, 2002, 2003, some movie had come out, or each brother had a movie coming out at that time that I was genuinely interested in or amused with or whatever. But anyway, Owen like clicked at that point, and I was like, "Hey, it's Luke Owen," and Rob's like, "Oh, nice, the Wilson brothers. Is that where we're going?"
I love it.
And I'm like, "Yeah, that's where we're going." So,
hey, it's not a bad namesake to have. They're pretty cool guys.
It just always makes me laugh whenever anybody brings them up. I'm like, yeah, I kind of named my kid a little bit after. I don't know, but kind of, sort of, like it did, not on purpose, but it happened. Anywho. Fun fact about the holiday family for the rest of the world to hear.
There you go.
All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap this up and hope and pray to the Disney Plus gods and powers that be. Please give us more. Give us more. We want to talk about it. We want to see it. We want to. All right, we just want the shows. So
we just want the shows. We want them now. We don't want to wait. Give us WandaVision, like, for sweeps, okay? I'll wait till May.
That's right.
Just give me May, okay?
I think obviously these are the kinds of shows that you and I are most excited about, and I'm laughing because you keep calling them for the adults. These are the adult shows, and here's the thing: I feel like for the most part that they are pretty family friendly. Like you can watch most of these things with the whole family, so I don't think of them as adult shows. But I know what you're trying to say is, in comparison to, say, Diary of a Future President, right? That's aimed at more the target audience is a little bit younger, where this one could be everybody could be getting into it.
Yes, I should say the whole family shows that everyone can watch. The teenagers would enjoy that, just the age up storytelling that's a little bit more cinematic in nature, and I'm here for it. I'll watch the kid shows too. Look, I'm here for Disney Plus. We're watching the movies. We're going for it. I'm all in. But I think we were all so blown away by The Mandalorian. Now there's this Mandalorian-shaped hole in my heart, or quite honestly, Baby Yoda-shaped hole. And we're looking to fill it. So we know we have to wait till fall for Mandalorian. So what are we going to get before then? Let's ramp it up. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you.
Come on. We got things to do.
I hear you. All right. Well, we'll be back soon. I know we have another movie coming out. What's coming out this weekend? It is called Timmy Failure. Mistakes Were Made. Yes. So I think we have screener. Each of us got access to screeners for it, but another one of us have had time yet to sit down and watch it. So I think we're going to wait, watch it with the kids, watch it with the family, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about that next week and give you a little bit of a review on that.
Sounds good. So thanks for listening, everyone. Please catch up with us in our Facebook group, now streaming Disney Plus Podcast, and we'll see you next time.
All right. See you real soon.